what you're looking for. I watch people get stuck and frozen, and that breaks my heart. I was once stuck and frozen too. Greatest superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people. By the way, there's no hyperbole in that, Peter. Like, it truly is. Like, it is the superpower. So, King Peter Swain, what's up, brother? Two-time winner of Business Mastery in a row, by the way. Amazing to have you here. And how you doing, Peter? What's present? And let's drop in with these amazing and fine folk.
Thanks, Sean, and thank you. And how was your weekend on the opposite coast?
You know what? It was extraordinary. It was really intense because I understand. Starting the day every day at 4 a.m. And I don't mean like thinking at 4 a.m. I mean running meetings, conversations, the huddle, doing the huddle at 5:30. It was intense. And it was wild because the schedule's particularly full right now. And having all that go on all week was extraordinary. But it was amazing. I got my butt kicked by Craig from SoCal and surfing. So we're 1-1. We did not have our final piece of the face off. So it was humbling and fun as well. Had some massive waves out there. And then we had Lorelei and, creating amazing ecosystem merger. More to come on that. But that was some extraordinary conversations occurred. And I mean extraordinary, like, taking what we're doing here and ecosystem merging with multi-billion-dollar companies were some of the conversation centered around merging ecosystems with some of the top people of influence as a superpower in their vertical in their industry. So it was a very productive and intense week. So thank you for asking that.
When I hear you say that, Sean, there's a soccer manager, to Americanize it for you all. There was a soccer manager in the UK called Nigel Clough, and he once met Muhammad Ali. And he was asked by a journalist, I hear you met Muhammad Ali? And he said, yeah, I think he enjoyed it. I feel the same when you tell me you've met some of the top people in the world of influence. So thank you. And with no further ado, Gina, have you done our glorious introductions for us?
I have not yet. I would love to do that. It is amazing to have all of you here. I'm going to let we have some incredible people here today. I had the pleasure of chatting with most of you. Let's see. Why don't we, Margie, you're here.
I know, I made it.
After all. Well, since you did it, that is wonderful. Well, since you are here, why don't we let you, I'm glad to see that your dog must be okay then, since you were having.
No, my dog's in the hospital, but I left my dog with the doctor, and I said, I'll be back in 1 hour. Please take care of him. He's on fluids. He's being looked after.
Oh, Mark.
Oh man.
No, please pray for him. His name's Leo. He's been really sick.
Oh my God. We will pray for Leo. And Margie, not to level one listen, but to connect. Our family dog, my children's dog, Winston, who's 10 and a half. The vet emergently this morning also.
Oh my goodness. Isn't that what? I mean, when Gina called me and it was like, okay, how am I going to do all this? And I have a teenage daughter Zooming with the doctor because this wasn't on my schedule. It's a whole story. But long story short, Leo is with the doctor. I said, Dr. Molnar, got to go. I'll be back in an hour. Please just take care of him. So he's in really good hands.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And we'll pray for Leo. And
I'll pray for your dog. What's your dog's name?
It's Winston. He's a
Winston. Oh, I love that name.
Yes. So after Winston Churchill.
Of course.
Yeah, for real. No, my son Tyler picked the name. Yes.
Oh, it's a beautiful name. Well, lovely to meet you all.
Yeah.
Well,
Peter, by the way, Peter, did you know that I had a dog named after Winston Churchill?
I didn't, and my estimation of your son, which was already quite high, has just gone like through the roof. Come on, that's what I like.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and he picked that name when he was 9 years old. So maybe that raised this a bit more. Yeah. So, So, by the way, Gina is the director of the Real Raw relationship world. Thank you, Gina, for doing everything.
Thank you, Gina. I loved our conversation this morning, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you. And I'm so glad I loved it too. It was wonderful to connect with you. And I'm just super grateful to see you here since we went back and forth a couple times. And I will be praying for your dog. And
Thank you.
What Margie does in the world is like remarkable.
Yeah. So Margie, what we do here in the Real Raw, and by the way, just to put this in perspective,
Yeah.
our Real Raw for everybody on Friday was, I guess, Peter, forgive me for the butchering of the language, reposted, rebroadcast, published, whatever the right wording would be, by Michael Burnett, of the head of Success Resources. So this Real Raw is getting major traction and attention in so many different directions. This is the 236th episode.
Oh, wow.
COVID has begun. And we've had some incredible people that were on Friday. Josh Pollack, who was with Peter Guber, Tony Robbins, Mark Benioff, led a bid to purchase Sports Illustrated and has just done a lot of remarkable things to the world. He was on Unbelievables. CEO Brian was on Friday as well. Les Brown has been here in the beginning. Brad Sugar's the founder of Action Coach. Celebrity lawyers, accountants, entrepreneurs of every vertical imaginable. Just giving you a perspective on what this is, because I think you know that.
Thank you for that. Yeah, no, I was telling Gina, it's a funny story. I had some major dental work done a few weeks ago, and someone called me as I was coming out of the process, and I had no idea what was going on. And then Gina called me and said, what am I involved in? But anyway, I'm so guided that I'm so open. It's like, I'll do whatever I need to do to make it happen. So here I am.
Give everybody
Thank you.
Thank you, Margie. And we'll start Margie in a moment. So what we really do in the beginning part of this is we connect and we share for 30 seconds who you are, your name, where you're from, and what you're up to in the world, and then a quick fun fact. So it might sound like, right, if you're King Peter, hey, I'm Peter Swain. What I'm up to in the world is making it a greater place through solving incredible challenges people have in the efficiency of the cost and the integrity with how they meet their clients and their relationships. And a quick fun fact is that I'm a Jet fan and they are 0-4, and this is a brutal way to live. Like that could be a fun introduction, right? So that might sound like how one introduces themselves in about a 30-second, burst. I'm sure Peter would do a much better job of announcing himself. But what you're up to with a little why to it, so what would be certainly appropriate, but maybe suboptimal would be, yes, hey, I'm an accountant from Albuquerque and I do people's taxes. And a fun fact is that, I like to watch television. You could say that, but that might be a little less optimal in revealing who you are in the world. So Margie, please, where you're from, what's happening. And
well, firstly, hi everybody. I feel so blessed to be here. I just finished 4 days of leadership with Tony. So not with Tony, but as part of the Robbins organization. So it's a wild ride, but my name is Margie. I'm originally from Australia. I now live in Los Angeles and have done for, oh my goodness, maybe coming up, or in America for just over 30 years. My background was in sales and marketing. And about 20 years ago, I met my husband and moved to California after living in Colorado for 13 years and loving it. And I've literally been in LA since then. I was working with my husband in the business that we were in. And then 4 years ago, I went to UPW in Los Angeles. And on Saturday, Tony asked us all to let go of something that was really stopping us from living our best life. And I left that event. Actually, I made a decision in that moment that not for one more second, not one more minute, not one more day was I going to live a life of settling and breadcrumbs. And I literally left that event and dismantled my 20-year marriage.
Wow.
And realized that I had been put on this earth for a greater purpose. And fast forward, going through the divorce process, and slowly women would start to gravitate to me that were either going through the divorce process or having had lost a child or something that broke them open, that they didn't feel like they had a choice or an option to continue on with their lives. In fact, a number of them were suicidal. And it started me on the journey of not just healing myself, but helping women heal themselves. And so Global Goddesses has been my passion for the last few months on building that and really helping women unleash their goddess within and turn their mess into their message and continue to create this movement or community that is happening organically around me, and getting as much of that information into as many women's hands as I possibly can, because there's an education piece to it. There's a research piece to it. It's just really shining a light on women, for women, to really live their higher purpose and create their own economy, but at the same time creating a change in the world.
Awesome. How about and how do you pronounce your name? How?
Margie.
Margie.
Well done. Well done. That's unusual. Most Americans, it takes them 4 or 5 tries.
Margie, thank you.
Fun fact: it takes most Americans 4 or 5 tries.
That is a fun fact. It's a perfect fun fact. But you want to go with that one, Margie, or one more?
Sure, why not?
All right, awesome. So yes, amazing. Gina, who do we have next?
All right. Next up, we have Alex G. How'd you know I was going to pick you, Alex? I saw you unmute yourself. It was perfect timing.
I knew it. I knew it. I have a feel for that.
How have you been?
I'm great. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean. So a few words about myself. For those who I know some of you, some of them I see for the first time. So a few words about myself. I've been born in Russia. I've been an engineer my whole life. I've been among the world's most brilliant people in different countries. I've been working with the companies worldwide as an engineer, creating and developing multi-million-dollar projects. I've been really enjoying the ride. And 5 years ago, I moved to States as I worked as an engineer for a couple more companies, including the big ones in California. But I always wanted to help more companies. Let's say, how can I help not just one company at a time, but help more companies to bring all my knowledge and all my experience like to bigger masses. So that's how we started my own team, my own company. And right now, I'm doing what I'm doing the best. I'm helping their businesses, business owners, and startups create new products and make money with technology products. That said, let's say there are many companies who have great ideas, but they might not have right resources. And what me and my team are doing, we are bringing the world's best talented people and helping companies like launch new products, and including a couple of in a Plat community. Clicksters was one of the projects we've developed with Milo, with Sean, with Deepak. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
Awesome, Alex. And how about a quick fun fact?
Quick fun fact. I was doing remote work before it was popular.
That is a fun fact. Real quick, we could maybe have Gina or the Unblinded team post it. Proximity, Proximity. I think you had, all right. Proximity was just in TechCrunch magazine.
Oh, wow.
Pretty cool. So still some really cool stuff going on. I look forward to reconnecting, Alex. It's been a little bit.
Oh, wow. Perfect.
So, yeah. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah. Gina.
Incredible. All right. So today, by the way, Sean, we have the A team because we have Alex G, who just shared who he is. We have Alex Sessa, who I'm calling Blue because I didn't know his last name, but now it's Sessa. And we have Angelica here today. So it's like the A team is here. So next up, let's hear Angelica. Tell us who you are and what you're up to in the world, Angelica, in like 30 seconds.
So my name is Angelica, originally from Ecuador, South America, live here in US for many years. I am in the business of selling vehicles, specialized in salvage, which help customers get their custom vehicle or a project vehicle where the customer doesn't have to have a loan on it and they put a lot of work themselves. And I had this business for about 20 years. I'm opening a new one in Las Vegas. This business start in Salt Lake City. That is the business that I've been for so many years, but I do have a passion, and my passion is more holistic. I do help persons that have illness with either energy work and NLP work, to get themselves out of a lot of either pain or illness, because a lot of times people believe the doctors that they're sick and they get worse. So helping getting those negative beliefs and emotional and blocks that they have into more holistic approach, into believing that they can heal themselves.
Awesome.
So that's my passion. And I do have, I haven't made that a business, but eventually I'm gonna have to do that because more people comes, and I'm gonna eventually open a business of that. My fun fact is that my grandfather used to take me on a horse to kindergarten, and now I'm selling cars.
Oh, that's funny.
That is amazing. That is amazing. A straight up sales gangster, Peter, and is what I'm hearing about. So welcome. And where are you in the world today, Angelica? Where are you physically?
I am in Henderson, Nevada.
Oh,
Very
okay.
nice. All right. Very, very cool. Well, welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Gina,
Wow.
please.
That is a fun fact indeed. Next up, we have Alex Sessa. Also, I nicknamed him Blue because he's got this awesome blue sweatshirt, and not to confuse the two Alexes. So Alex, so Blue, you're up. Tell us where you are calling in from and what you're up to in the world.
Well, first off, thank you everyone in here. Tremendous amount of gratitude for having us. It's wonderful to be involved in things like this. So thank you. My name is Alex Sessa. Blue is, you can call me Blue all you want. I'm perfectly happy with that. Calling from Kelowna, British Columbia in Canada.
Oh.
And what I'm up to in the world is I'm up to a couple of different projects that are health and sport and fitness related. I love helping people build residual income and attaining their dream bodies. Fun fact about me is I love seeking near life experiences. So bungee jumping, skydiving, shark diving, snowmobiling, snowboarding, anything that really provides, I mean, all of life is living. I love it so much, and I'm so deeply grateful. But I love those extra moments where you get to be so deeply involved in what you're doing and specifically just focused on that moment in front of you. And so, yes, I'm very grateful, and thank you again all for being here.
Alex, that's awesome, brother. And how far from Whistler are you?
About 4.5 hours, 5-hour drive.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
okay.
And so
Yeah.
what's your favorite boarding or skiing mountain in the world?
To be honest, that is my hometown, it's called Revelstoke Mountain Resort.
Yeah.
So it's got the highest vertical ski run in North America,
Oh, wow.
but nobody really knows about it. It's
I
a
know
quiet little, you know, Sean.
Yeah, I've heard. I haven't been yet. My son Tyler has been desperately because there's no, are there chairlifts yet at Revelstoke? I know there weren't a few years ago, right? Or
yeah, in 2008 there was a transition, obviously with everything that was going on in the world, and there's new owners. But yes, there are multiple. There's 3 different chairlifts now, and they're building 2 to 3 more, and it's all the way up the mountain and actually going down the other side into all the other bowls and valleys. So it's a world-class facility.
Cat skiing, all those things around, right?
Everything, yes, for sure. I'm actually doing heli boarding in February, so I'm very, very excited about that as well.
And final on that, Alex, and thank you for sharing all this awesomeness. What is your favorite shark diving situation that you've ever encountered?
The favorite shark diving situation so far has been diving with 7-gill sharks. There was about 6 or 7 of them. They were about between 12 and 13 feet long, like big female 7-gill sharks. The next one, of course, I'm so ready to great white shark dive. And everybody's talked about, the cage and things like that. I'm a little bit on the outside where I want to be outside of the cage.
Yeah.
So I know it's a different experience, and I know that, a lot of people, they attract sharks with chum, and there's been a lot of different modalities where they're attracting sharks with music, and it provides completely different. They're curious, like they're curious, like their curiosity instead of their shark mentality, right? Because they see food when it's obviously blood in the water. I am ready to swim with sharks with an acoustic surrounding outside of the cage and experience that.
Well, Dude, that is amazing. Congratulations. Your energy is felt and received here, Alex. Awesome stuff. And if of interest to you, there's a really cool shark dive in the Bahamas at Stewart's Cove, and a bunch of people do at Tiger Beach. So there's a kind of a main one at Stewart's Cove. They've been on Shark Week a bunch. There's an additional one that they run. It's something called Tiger Beach, where there are tiger sharks that come, and they are quite sizable, and you're out of the cage as well. So some extraordinary.
When are we going, Sean?
Yeah, let's do it. Make no mistake, right? 2021, we've already had our first unblinded elite excursion. That's a story for a different day.
Oh, wow.
Crazy thing in Long Beach Island just a couple of weeks ago. I'll share this. We went into the ocean in offshore hurricane-like conditions. And Gina, what was it like going into the ocean at midnight in the pitch black? By the way, in Long Beach Island, where Jaws originated, right?
Oh, Jesus.
That's where Peter Benchley, the attack happened in 1916, 104 years ago. Fact check me on that on Shark Week, the whole deal with Peter Benchley as well. Happened in Long Beach Island. It's where a mile from my beach home.
Oh my God, that's
and
amazing.
we went in at midnight with Jaws music playing. We had the whole deal. And Gina, what was it like going in offshore hurricane-like conditions? What happened to you?
It was nuts. It was fun. It was scary. And I go in the ocean all the time. I live right a mile away from the beach here in the Jersey Shore as well. But we all were jumping in. It was like midnight, and I just got lost. I was going somewhere. I was out going towards Peter Swain until Sean grabbed my foot and pulled me in. So I'm very thankful for that.
I saw a body felt the body washing by, and she grabbed an ankle, and then and Gina stood up and then was back the other way. So it was absolute insanity. So and I just to round this story out, we had Craig Klingman from Southern California. It's part of our Unblinded Elite program. And so we had 60 of us there. And so Craig is there, and he had been teasing and joking New Jersey waves and all this stuff. And we had crazy, insane surf. And Peter was like, this is no joke. And I got the better of him in our surf off. We had everybody get surf lessons and all kinds of things during the day. And then I went to California this week, and I resurfed with him. He got the better of me in his home waters in California. So we were saying that we are our final surf off away from deciding our East Coast, West Coast surf off dynamics. But I was out in Coronado and San Diego, which, by the way, I will round into also, it was my first leadership with Tony Robbins. The program had been out in San Diego, hosted there. And I fell in love with Coronado a few years ago when I went to leadership. So I thank Tony Robbins for so many things, but I thank him for that as well. And with those things said, I think we have some judges today, Gina, do we not?
We do indeed. And I just want to say one thing about Blue. I'm just wondering if you had some broken bones when you're little. If I was your mom, I probably was in fear all the time. Just have a feeling that you were fearless. Anyway, sorry. Moving on. Judge, we have David Gonzalez here. I see with us today.
Is in the house. DG is in the house. The most heart-centered connector of super connectors. And people make claims. This man is one step away from every human on the planet. It is absolutely unbelievable. So David, I did not know you were going to be here today. Welcome. And how are you, brother?
I didn't know I was going to be here either, except I reached out to Peter Swain this morning to say good morning. And the next thing you know, here I am. I'm doing great. Thank you. So what am I in 30 seconds? I'm supposed to share what? So
your amazingness of
okay,
where you're from, what you're up to in the world. And
so I've distilled it down to I'm a serial super connector with a focus on social impact businesses. I run a large network of digital marketing direct response experts. And the fun fact about me is I used to run $1 million hypnotherapy business. And I'll have a second one, which is that, they always say the two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you discovered why. Well, about a month ago, I discovered why. And that is I've decided to found the Truth Foundation, which is about trauma resolution until truth heals, which is normalizing the conversation around trauma resolution so that everyone from Plumber Joe to somebody who's discovering that they want to run for Senate today, and everyone in between has a comfortable conversation or a natural conversation in the same way that at one point it wasn't normal to wear your seatbelt in a car. And now everyone wears a seatbelt. So I want it to be natural, normal for everyone to just realize, like, hey, we all have trauma. Some of us have healed it, and as Peter pointed out to me this morning, we've all resolved it. It's a matter of, are we using it or is it using us? So
Awesome.
thank you for having me. And I am just, I want to acknowledge Sean and the Unblinded community, because when I was at LBI for that elite weekend, it was I was in a three-person group with L, Anderson, and Deepak, and we were talking about how to access our Zeus energy. And as Sean, as you pointed out, I have a very big heart, goddess energy. I have that in spades. And L and Deepak helped me access my Zeus energy, and that was one of the big things that pushed me over the fence to really realize that it's time to make the Truth Foundation a reality. So
awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome job, brother. And David has also run one of the most powerful events in internet marketing consistently for the last 12 years, called the Internet Marketing Party. He's had it for 12 consecutive years monthly, and it is extraordinary. And that's because of him. So, and his birthday just passed. So love you, brother. And thank you.
Love you too.
Yeah, thank you. Gina.
Yeah.
Wow, incredible. And exactly why I want to talk to you more, David. That's incredible. I have a feeling Margie and you are going to connect as well. So this is just what an amazing group. Next up, I see the incredible bright orange shirted Joe Hagan. What's up, Joe?
Joe Hagan, from the Wall Street world to heart-centeredness to loving children to adults and people of impact. Joe Hagan, who are you? What are you up to in the world, brother?
So yeah, I guess if you had to boil it down to one word, I would be a coach of myself, getting through business and life, getting through 20 years of intensity on Wall Street, and also dealing with personal tragedies that life throws at you. I'm also a coach of my kids, who I've coached through those tragedies, as well as in sports. I do have 5 children and a wife, and that's my why in everything in the world. And today, I coach my clients, and my ecosystem partners on avoiding overexposure in the stock market, because it's a serious condition. It's a serious issue for most people, because most people don't realize, like, I find it very ironic. When I first got to Wall Street, I had to be a preacher in the choir and convert people, because I started in 1990 and people came into this, into the world where they're getting 10 and 12% on CDs. And why take risk when you have that in real estate? Some people recognize growth. And then after 20 years, I now found myself saying, Turbo, you may need to slow down and look at your portfolio and find 25 to 30% of alternative investments that give you a return without having to take the risk in the market. And I just think that's, one of the ironies for me in my career. And, I'm having a lot of fun doing it, and a lot more fun since I joined Unblinded.
Oh, thank you, brother. And Joe is in LBI as well. And what Joe's talking about in alternative investing, Ray Dalio teaches about uncorrelated assets. And Joe, I guess it would be fair to say you play in the space of uncorrelated assets.
Yeah, I'm still a stock junkie. I love picking stocks, but as far as my career and in my ecosystem and in my clients, I really look to find, from my proximity, used that word before, from my connections on Wall Street for over 20 years, particularly in the fintech space, providing access to deals that are not correlated to the market and that can give you a higher return and a superior return without worrying about, the market risk. And when coronavirus hit early this year, my phone blew up because people were thankful that they had a chunk of their portfolio that they weren't worried about when the Dow hit 18,000, and instead use that as opportunity instead of, additional fear.
Awesome.
So, yes.
Well, Joe Hagan, welcome, brother. Gina.
All right. So next up, we have the one and only Deepak Suthar.
Deepak, this is like an all-star day. This is crazy. What's up, brother?
Sean, I'm not going to bring anything other.
Peter, there is no doubt. There is no doubt. I can't wait to get to you, my friend. So Deepak, what's up, brother?
Man, I just wanted to start this off with also an acknowledgement for you, Sean, putting all these incredible people together. Thank you, Peter, for the invitation. And the coolest part about this thing is that I get to consistently be in front of world-changing people. And like, that is the coolest part of this whole thing. So thank you for putting this whole Real Raw together. It's amazing. This is going to be, I'm so excited.
Thank you. And I'm going to say this, Deepak was the second person that I met and really knew a little bit in the Tony Robbins world in any meaningful way. It was Mariah Brown, and introduced me in the same night to Deepak and to Bayman Zakari. And you guys were the first people that I knew and met there. And it was amazing. I was a long time Tony Robbins student, but a brand new person in the Platt space and hadn't been to an event in a long time. And it was in leadership in San Diego, which I just came back from, where I had, we hung out late at night, had an awesome chat, and I got to meet Deepak in 2018 in August 2018 actually it was. So it's awesome to be here on this journey with you. And Deepak was in Long Beach Island as well. So great to see you again, Deepak.
Yeah, awesome.
So what's going on, man?
So, I'll start it off with, what I'm up to in the world. Why do we burn in a bonfire our money and our time? And I love seeing Sean smile with this. And why do we allow ourselves to let our business relationships that we've worked so hard to put together wither away and turn into nothing? That is what I'm focused on right now. That is what my new company is. So over the past 20 years of being in software, I've done everything you could possibly imagine. I've worn every single hat, and I've been educating people on this whole concept. And there's still a massive hemorrhaging of money. People know that this is a problem, that they're just letting business relationships fall. And that's what we're solving. And that's what we're doing. And we're making sure that our clients are getting a 3x, an 8x return on their investment. If that's something that you're interested in, contact me. I'd love to help you out. And a fun fact, I've got a really fun fact actually, and this is related to Mr. Peter Swain. I have blown Peter Swain's mind twice now. The first time by telling him about my company, Follow Up as a Service, and the second time was this morning. I taught him how you can rearrange your Zoom tiles by just dragging and dropping them wherever you want. So boom, I blew his mind 2 times. My day is done.
That is amazing. When you blow Peter Swain's mind, you have done something truly magical and special. Congratulations, Deepak. Amazing. And with that said, Gina, let's get to the man, King Peter, Peter Swain. Who are you, sir? Besides the genius that I've introduced you as, one of the most intelligent people in the space of the online world I've ever seen. And it's actually better yet, not online, just marketing strategy. Incredible thinker, brilliant man. What are you up to in the world? And a fun fact, sir.
Thank you, Sean. I stand on the shoulder of all you giants. It's easy to be great around great people. I live in the UK. I work about 20 hours a day. People think it's a euphemism. It's not. I work 20 hours a day. I worked for big corporate America for about 18 years. People like Evian, Microsoft, Google, BlackBerry, Apple, Jamie Oliver, Gordon Ramsay, the Euros. I was one of the first web developers in the world. And in November 18, I realized digital can scale anyone and anything. So I needed to work for good people that deserve to be scaled, and help them understand the complex, wonderful world of digital, get rid of the acronyms, and just talk about how people should use this amazing technology to do what they need to do so that the good people win, not the bad people. My fun fact is, go back 4 years ago, I was one of the lead consultants on digital strategy for the Revelstoke Mountain Resort in the 2008 takeover by the Gallardi family.
Amazing.
So the Sandman Hotel, the Signature Hotel, and the Sotheby's real estate office there, you can blame me for, or partly blame me for that coming around.
That is extraordinary. I have to get to Revelstoke. Tyler is going to be driving me completely insane until we go. Yes, so we are present. It is the Real Raw. And if I may, just share a quick fun fact.
That's what I was Sean. You're the only one that hasn't gone.
Yes, I was just going to say, and Sean, please.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you, Gina. So, hey, my name is Sean Callaghy, and what I'm up to in the world is co-creating simple, fun, and magical micro distinctions and frictionlessness that free exponential abundance in people's money, time, and magic. Hyperbole? I don't think so. So there's a formula to how people create results. And the core of that formula is how people go from hello to yes in integrity and authenticity with other human beings. This very show, The Real Raw, 236 episodes in, and we will run 100 of these in the month of November. We will run about 80 of them in the month of October, and we will run, I believe, 300 in the month of January, is an integrous platform and a disruption in what I would call experiential marketing. How do people know how to choose, who to connect with, and how to filter and accelerate ecosystem mergers? And what is an ecosystem merger? These are the questions that we're sitting in the space of on The Real Raw, but suffices to say that what I'm up to in the world is influencing influencers to come together to create relationships that make the world a greater place, including their own, and exchange massive value. Because I think people want three things. They want more money, and when they have enough, they want more time freedom. And when they have enough, they want more magic and impact. And that's what this is all about. So thank you for being here. This is a remarkable group of people, and it just keeps getting better. Every day I'm blown away by who is here and what is happening. So thank you. And now we have some fun together, and we play a game. It's called the game of what does your influence look like? And I don't mean Boiler Room meets Wolf of Wall Street. That's not what we're talking about, right? We're talking about how people connect, hear each other, but do more than connect, actually get to a yes so something occurs. Because it's one thing to like and love each other. A lot of people don't do that. They just try to like force a yes, and they're in some lacking in integrity, pitch, hook, close, like sales dynamic. But on the other side is like, if we're just connected and we don't do anything, then we have no impact. Everything begins after yes. And there's a science to it. And it's exponentially different. Tony Robbins' ability to go from hello to yes, Oprah Winfrey's ability to go from hello to yes, Bruce Springsteen's, Martin Luther King, JFK, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Muhammad Ali, for that matter, all of these people had exponentially different abilities to go from hello to yes than most people. What's that science? Because it is a science. And we're here to explore that and have some fun and learn from each other and share and introduce people to Unblinded and what we're doing. Because my outcome would be to go from hello to yes with everybody and scaling and partnering and doing real raws and raw opens together. Story for a different day. For now, it's what do we do to unpack influence? And Peter will be anybody that you want him to be in the world. He could be Peter. He could be an ideal client. He could be somebody about a book deal, somebody in a co-creation project, whatever you'd like him to be as an avatar, himself, or some specific person. We've had people on the Real Raw say, hey, I want you to be President Trump. Hey, I want you to be Tony Robbins. Hey, I want you to be Oprah Winfrey. I want you to be Ellen DeGeneres and beyond. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, all sorts of different fine folks, or an avatar. I want you to be my ideal client, which is, a person making $300,000 a year that's an accountant from, Wilmington, Delaware. Whatever it is for you is what it looks like. And it's, again, not the ultimate yes. It's 3 minutes. It doesn't have to be a sale. It could simply be to have a longer meeting with you. So, Maggie, we started with you. We will come back to you. How do you feel about going first? And who would you like Peter to be?
You're on mute, Maggie.
Gina or Miles,
you're muted.
Hello.
There we go.
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not quite sure what we're doing, but I'm just going to jump in. So I guess.
But Maggie, are we ever quite sure of what we're doing?
No, you're right.
Quite sure of what we're doing.
No, you're right. It's one moment at a time, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
So I think I'd like you to be you, because I'm now realizing, I think I met you in Idaho at the financial meeting. Were you there?
You're going to be role playing with me, not with Sean.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm confused.
And I wasn't in Idaho.
Okay.
But I will share that. I was in this past year in Idaho.
Yeah, this past year.
Yeah, I was the person who raised the money for Operation Underground Railroad.
That's correct. I remember I was sitting at the front cheering everybody on. It was amazing.
Yeah. So, but Peter will be the role player.
Okay, Peter. Hi.
You like Peter to be? He could be me. He could be himself. He could be
I like him. I like his English energy. I've always been a bit of a fan of the English man, just quietly, Peter.
Well, that wasn't
And-
quiet. That was out loud, but I love it. Well done.
And I really appreciate your energy. So I'd like you to be you.
Amazing.
Okay. Here I am, me.
Okay, so can somebody walk me through this a little?
Yes. So,
Yes.
Yes.
Sean, go.
Okay, so all we're doing, Maggie, is you're going to go from hello to yes with Peter about something.
Okay.
And whatever matters to you in the world. So it
Okay.
could be for him to be a client. It could be for him to be a strategic partner. It could be for a book deal, whatever you want it to be. But it doesn't have to be the ultimate yes. It could just be
Okay.
a longer meeting, 3 minutes. So maybe it's most effective to see if you can generate a 30-minute meeting with Peter about something relevant to you. Or it could be the absolute ultimate yes. Whatever you would like is a yes that's important to you in the world. And then you can make the call if it should be just for a longer meeting to that yes, and that's your sub yes, or it's the ultimate yes. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
All right. You have
Okay,
3
so
minutes.
Peter, hi.
Hello. Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Good. So where in England are you from?
I've been bouncing around, but I currently live about 2 hours west of London.
In a place called?
Corsham, just outside of Bath.
Oh, okay. I've got my godparents live in a place called Porlock in County Somerset, which I think is about 3 or 4 hours south of London.
Yeah, they're another hour west of us.
That's a beautiful part of the world.
It's not bad.
So I am in the midst of putting together a really amazing platform for women who have found themselves broken open through different experiences that have happened to them in their life. And I'm really trying to get the information that I'm doing, such as courses and education, into the right people's hands so I can make a difference on a global level. And I think I heard you earlier in the conversation that you're involved in this e-commerce world, and it's a world that I really don't know a lot about. So I was wondering what your thoughts might be on what steps I should take moving forward.
Yeah, I think once you've, I think you have a good understanding of who your avatar is. I would say that online your avatar is probably too broad, because what you're saying is your audience is 3.6 billion people, which it might be, and that's phenomenal. But in an online world, you'll need to get slightly more distinct before you're able to really target them. And then I would look at what you can do for free versus what you need to do that's paid. Because especially in COVID times, we need to market to people in the lowest frictionless way possible.
Okay.
So I would bring people on into some kind of free webinar, free funnel, free event, where you can provide a space that works. And I think where you maybe want to focus is working out how you're different from the other offerings that are out there, because if you could be something there, you can then partner with those people instead of them seeing you as a different approach. So
Okay, so I think I'm hearing you say that to be more in alliance with people than to be as a separate entity.
Yeah, the more you can align with people, you can start leveraging their audiences and get in touch with their people.
30 seconds.
And your space is, I want to help women that have been broken open and turn their mess into a message. It should be a very simple, yes, how can we help you? There shouldn't be much friction of people helping with that, male and female.
Okay, great. Thank you. I really appreciate your help.
Perfect. But how can I help you specifically?
Well, I'm also looking at the research piece. I'd like to gather research. I don't think there's enough research about women in the world and what happens to them from a physical, a spiritual, and a mental situation when stuff like major traumas and major issues happen to them. And so I was really, one of the things I learned from the last 4 days of leadership was I'm very drawn to women who are incarcerated and who are coming out of the prison system. And they have made a better decision. And Tony teaches it all the time. It's the decisions that control our destiny, not the conditions. had they made a different decision in that 90-second window they have, they might not be where they are. So I really want to gather some research and create an education piece of my platform to help those women.
That's amazing.
And Peter, you got a call in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, but I do have a call, but there's a couple of people I want to introduce you to, Margie. So maybe we could hook back up.
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay. Thank you so
I'm gonna go take this call. Yeah, bye-bye.
Maggie, excellent work. How'd that feel for you, Maggie?
Amazing. I can tell you're a good bloke, Peter.
Peter's a good bloke. Peter's a good bloke. So let's turn from one good bloke to another. David Gonzalez, what 30 seconds of feedback would you have for Maggie?
Okay, Margie, I would say that I loved how you opened with your confidence, your fun energy, your curious energy, and based on the formula, it would have been ideal for you to come in and find out more about Peter and his interests and his alignment with what you're up to, because as noble as it is, when you can find what he's up to and what naturally is going to pull his heart,
Great point.
then
Thank you.
you'll capture him at a much deeper level where he'll be not only someone who's kind of willing to give you a couple of minutes, but who'll be an advocate for life.
Amazing. And so, David, do you have a score?
I'm reluctant to give my score because Margie doesn't know anything about the formula, like how we do the formula, but my score would be a 4.
Okay.
Just based on just the actual formula.
Got it. Okay. Simon Cowell, Ness is present, which we've often talked about in a fun and awesome way. And I acknowledge David for his integrous approach to sharing his heart and being in support of. So thank you, David. Illustrious Joe Hagan, what do you got, sir?
So yeah, I think I love the way she started building rapport. She had great energy. I am absolutely on board with David in as much as particularly her cause could be quite easy to create that alignment. Like, hey, Peter, let me ask you a question. Do you ever know any woman that, and you can give examples of, horrible trauma and, some of the stuff and the work that you've researched too. And he may turn around and say, my sister-in-law, my mom, my cousin, my aunt, and all of a sudden, like Dave said, he's magnetically pulled right into the conversation
Right.
at a much higher level. And I think everything in the middle was awesome. But I think the reason why David's score also isn't that great is because there was really no formation agreement and you have a 3-minute call. I would have just talked about the research and how important it is and how much you can learn from Peter and set up another meeting, and don't just leave it out there. Just, give choices. When can we meet? When is a good time for you? And give him choices and let him know that you're eager to set up another meeting because the cause is so important and so great and you're so dedicated to it, and that he's going to want to help you that much more. So setting up another agreement is important, but I would give it, just because of the cause and because everything in the middle was so great, I'd give it a 7.
Okay, awesome. And Maggie, we're going to do a demonstration in a little bit and we'll role play it out exactly on your mission and your outcome. And I have a couple thoughts on that. So excellent job.
Yeah, thank you. Can I just say one thing?
Please.
It's kind of interesting because I was going to originally, when we started talking, because I kind of feel like I'm flying by the seat of my pants, but that's good. I was actually going to reach in and ask him if there's someone in the world that he knew, or someone in his own circle, but I didn't really know. So I thought I'm just going to go with it, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But thank you all. I really appreciate the feedback. I'm very grateful.
Awesome. Absolutely. And you know what, Maggie, this is something that I've been in the unblinded formula and in the training patterns that we've created here. One of the things that I offer, right, this is just offer from my heart, is I heard you share it a couple of times. We have a default process of, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. And what I think that can do for us is it can slow down massive acceleration, because you're brilliant.
Okay.
You're brilliant. Straight up. I could hear that 1,000 miles away. You're accomplished. You're intentional. You're heart-centered. All those things. You know what you're doing. You might be a couple of little details off in what this is or what anything is that you're encountering, in terms of new information, but who
Right.
I know you to be, just from the encounter we've had here, is you assimilate information like that. You understand, you process, you accelerate, you go to UPW, you decide you're going to restructure your entire life, because you walked in, perhaps not with that intention, you walked out knowing what was going to happen. And I offer that to everybody. Our growth mindset, we can accelerate how fast we learn and the exponentiality with which we move when we know, and we're just looking for these tiny micro distinctions. A thought.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Love
you.
that. It's great.
Amazing. King Peter, who's next?
We are going to Alex G next. So, Alex, who would you like me to be?
Perfect. Thank you, Peter. So, as I work, I would like it to be my potential client. So, which is going to be the CEO or CDO of mid-sized company with, let's say, 100 million revenue. And the specific challenge you might not have internal resources to innovate and launch new products. You need it, but you don't have the manpower to get this done.
Okay, in that case, I'm a tech provider to the hospitality industry, because that's exactly who I was 3 years ago with exactly that problem. So
perfect.
I can actually be me in this one.
All right.
Perfect. All right, Peter. So you wear multiple hats. Peter, how are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Peter, what business are you in, and how's business?
Yeah, business is great. We're the booking engine provider for the hotel industry. We do about 600 million in revenue of hotel bookings, including being the preferred provider for British Columbia, for Vancouver tourism. And hotels are queuing up to work with us at the moment.
Oh, thank you for sharing. Peter, before we go further, let me ask you why that's important for you personally, and why you initially got into this business. I want to hear your story.
It's an interesting one. I was running a mobile agency in the 2012 recession. One of my clients was actually a gentleman called Philippe. And when I wound that down as the recession hit, he asked me to join him. And to be totally honest, my initial reason was to work with him as an individual, as a mentor. He's taught me a lot. But now we've got dozens of staff, and we're upset about the mid-sized hotels. The power of the chains, the power of Expedia, and the power of Booking.com is so big that the independent hotel is being crowded out of the market. They don't have access to the technology that the Starwoods, the IHGs, the Hiltons, the Sheratons that have. So they're just finding it really hard to compete.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear your pain, and I hear how much you care about those companies and why you want to help them. Yeah, it's a complex and very competitive times. Every business must innovate, or it might not survive. And I can give you a bold claim, but I'm pretty certain we can do that. We can give you and your clients certainty they can not only survive, but they can flourish. Would you be interested to hear more?
Sure.
Perfect. Yes. So basically, we propose you to work with someone. We can help your clients working with someone who created over 50 projects, and in any industry, and get all that best knowledge and experience to help them create a custom and tailor-made solution for them to beat their competition and to survive finally. And we can give the best of all engineering worlds to your clients. And I would like to hear a little bit more about specific challenges they might be having, if you can share that.
Yeah, I mean, the average hotel loses about $5 on every booking they take. Booking.com and Expedia charge 20% commissions on a $150 hotel room night, which means the average hotel loses money on every booking it makes.
Thank you for sharing, Peter. I'm pretty sure through innovative IT solution that we can create for them with you, we can help them not only lose $5, but make $5 on every deal. would you be interested in setting up the follow-up meeting to discuss more?
Yeah, I mean, we've been trying to do it for 7 years, but if you can tell me you can do it, then let's have a conversation.
Always confident we can help. Thank you, Peter.
Excellent, Alex. Peter, how did that feel for you? If you had, one sentence to describe the connection.
Confidence needs to be backed up by a historical understanding, or it can be taken as an affront.
Okay, awesome. And Alex, how did that feel for you?
I felt connection. I felt I didn't share enough about ourselves, so I was making claims, and I didn't necessarily back them up with the statements or some information. But I really wanted to ask Peter much more about his personally, why he's doing what he's doing, basically to connect more on a personal level, and then to go to business. But I believe I missed out a little bit on the sharing why we are and why we can do what we claim we can do.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Alex. Let's take it to Deepak. What 30 seconds do you have for Alex, please, Deepak?
Yeah, so I agree with Peter and Alex with your summation of that time. I think what was great was that you exposed the problem and you acknowledged it. You said, hey, I hear it and I agree. It is a complex solution. So I think, just acknowledging it and saying that it is complex and not just going into, oh, this is simple, we can solve this problem here, boom. So I think that gave you some credibility there. I love the certainty that you were talking about, like your solution, you can do this, you can do that, and you said it with absolute certainty. But at the same time, I think Peter is right. Like if you can't back that up with maybe a little bit of social proof or something like that, it could be taken of kind of like a bravado kind of thing.
Cool.
And I love that you got to the agreement, right? And you got it twice. So I'm gonna give you 2 high fives for that. So I'm gonna give you a score of an 8.5. Well done, brother.
All right.
Thank you, Deepak.
Thank you. And Mr. David Gonzalez, what do you have, sir?
Yes, I thought your opening was amazing, fantastic rapport building. What made you choose you're going into that business? I think you could have gone a little deeper in asking him, a little bit about his mentor and why that was important. That would have been a 10 on the rapport building. That was really fast. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody go that deep that quickly. As far as disrupting the default no, you could have gone a lot further there and figure out what his real pain point was. And that's, I think, where you would have discovered that there was more to it, and you would have found out he's been trying to work on this for 7 years, and that would have intuitively given you that ability to know, like, oh, I shouldn't just brush this off. I also feel like you missed your unique heroic identity, which is a lot of what is being referenced here and reflected. Is like he has no way to know that you're not just some punk kid that thinks you can do this stuff but don't really know. Like if you had said, I've done this, 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 and this, and here's the references and that kind of thing, that would have brought it up. And then I love the confidence and your risk reversal, your fantastic agreement formation. So I gave you an 8.5.
Nice, great.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Back to talking, David. Alex, excellent work, sir. Peter, who's next?
Let's keep with the wonderful world of boy girl and go to Angelica now, if that's okay.
Yes, Angelica.
So I will go with Peter. I would like you to be yourself. You're a very smart man, so just be yourself, please.
Listen, Peter, like when you say Peter, smart, brilliant, how does that feel, Peter? That everybody's like smart, brilliant. Like, how does that land for you?
Pretty awesome, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
pretty awesome.
Excellent. All right, Angelica, you have 3 minutes. Please take it.
I'm going to go with my passion, which is the holistic approach that I have not started yet. Like I was talking before, I have been helping persons that have some illness with
I'm sorry, Angelica.
energy work.
I'm out. You're now communicating with Peter, correct or not correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. All right, my apologies. So clock starts, 3 minutes, please go. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this business has not started yet, but is a business that I will like to make a long term for all the persons. When the person is ill, they go through basically back and forth, sometimes from the doctors, which have the facts, blood work tests, and the holistic approach is like I can heal myself, and then go back and forth. And sometimes in the holistic approach, they don't have the support. And they go back to the doctor and they believe, yes, I'm sick and I don't have a lot of time and I have to be arranging all my affairs and everything. And so what I would like is to provide that person with the support, continuous support throughout their illness, but not only them, is a family, because a lot of times of the family is supporting the illness instead of supporting the healing. And so there's a lot of beliefs and limitations. And so I would like to do it like a long term. And that's, go ahead.
That's amazing. But how can I specifically help you?
It's creating a platform. I was thinking maybe having a small fee with all the family can come back at any time, because sometimes what happened, they go to a coaching and they pay for the coaching, and unless they come back and pay again, they're stuck and they go back to the old ways. So it's a platform when they can come back anytime, any part of the family to get support.
That's that's amazing. I don't want to dismiss what you're saying, but how can I help you with that?
Your help will be in helping me clarify and just guide me if you think it's a good approach or maybe it's not such a good approach.
I mean, I think it sounds like there's definitely something there. Historically, what have you done that give the lens credence to this?
I've done all my life going to my background. My grandma was a holistic healer, and all my life I've been into holistic, even though my business has been more into more practical stuff, but all my life I've been researching and healing people with holistic ways, which is either Reiki energy, is either also different kind of energies, and NLP as well, helping people get rid of unlimited beliefs, and also the power of your word, what you have, what you say and what you declare yourself for your health and benefit.
It's amazing. Do you mind if I ask why is this important to you now?
I feel like more than any time in our lives, we need that support, because a lot of people is so scared thinking that they're going to get sick, instead of believing in themselves that we have this amazing body that it can heal itself, and we can have this energy to believe that we're not going to get sick.
Well, I'm more than happy to help you in any way I can. I'm not clear as to what that is right now, but wherever it is, I would love to help.
Thank you.
Excellent. How did that feel for you, Angelica?
Great. It's an idea that, like I say, I haven't put in place, or I don't have all the steps yet. But if somebody believes in me that this is possible, it just gave me a great feeling. So thank you.
Awesome. And Peter, what would you share from your heart?
From my heart, it's an amazing mission, and I was asking those questions to try and help Angelica clarify some of those points, because I didn't think they were coming out as well as they could come out, because it's obviously something she believes in and something that is definitely needed and wanted in the world.
Awesome. Coach Jill Hagan, what do you have for Angelica?
So yeah, permission to speak with constructive criticism, Angelica.
Yes.
But if you worked for me, I'd be like you're trying to stick Jello to a wall, right? Like if you watch Shark Tank, they'll say, you don't have a business. You only have a product. It's not a business yet. At this point, you're just an idea. So if you're going to call Peter, you need to refine your idea. And it's a great idea, but he had to pull your why out of you when, I would have kind of led with some rapport, gave him your why, and then went right into your unique heroic identity, which he kind of had to pull out of you too, which was that your grandmother was a holistic healer, and you know, talk about the results and talk about the need, and then talk about a formation agreement. Anything you think that would help me would be great if you could think about it. All your input would be helpful, and then you set up another meeting. Would be my idea. That would be really tough to score in the formula, but I would say that you really have to refine your idea and understand who your target market is and what your approach is as far as the first steps. And maybe that's for Peter. That's your idea, but because it's such a great cause, I'd have to give it at least a 7 in a passing grade.
Very nice, Joe. Excellent. Deepak, for Angelica, please.
Angelica, you are not, you don't have the frame of reference of what the formula looks like. So I'm not going to score you against the formula. But I'm going to give you some constructive feedback on both accounts.
Please, yes.
Number one, I feel your heart in it, right? I know that you want to help people. I know you want to help people holistically. So when you start the conversation, instead of saying, you know, my business hasn't started yet, it's just an idea, it could be something along the lines of, I've got an amazing passion for healing people holistically, and it started with my grandmother. And then you can ask him questions, like instead of you communicating outbound the whole time, start asking him questions about how does this affect him? What does this mean to him? And then kind of what Joe was saying earlier is, you know the outcome. Like when you're going into this 3-minute conversation, what are you trying to get at the end of that, right? And that's really what the agreement formation is I know that at the end of these 3 minutes, I'm going to ask you for another 3 minutes because we're going to try to extend the conversation. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Excellent, Deepak.
Yeah.
Thank you, Angelica. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and beautiful vision. And yep, we're going to drop in with a quick demo in a second, similar to Magi. But Peter, who is next?
Well, last but not least, Sean, we have Blue, who last time we referred to as Superman. So this is his second run at this. So we're looking for an increased mark, I believe.
All right, let's go, Alex. Who would you like Peter to be?
Peter, I'd love you to be you, my man. You're more than enough just the way you are.
All right, take us in.
So Peter, I'm grateful to speak with you again, brother. Thank you so much for having us on here. Where does it hurt for you, Peter? Where does it hurt for you right now?
In what way?
Where does it hurt for you physically, my man? What's going on?
We could do a short list by me telling you where it doesn't, but sitting in this chair 18 hours a day, I would probably go for lower back more than anything else. And obviously, weight gain and COVID are not my friend.
So what I'm hearing you say is that the COVID's been a little bit challenging, and you've been sitting a lot, and you've gained a few extra pounds whilst you've been working and serving people for 20 hours a day. Is this correct?
Yeah, I lost 35 pounds in the 3 months before lockdown. And I've put on 42 pounds since lockdown, which is a bit of a kick in the,
I feel that you're kicking yourself a bit, and congratulations, of course, celebrate the 35 pounds. And I'm feeling that your 42 pounds of weight gain now is just as another opportunity for you to, move forward and crush this challenge a second time. Is that correct?
Yep. Most definitely.
So what's your main driver, Peter? What's your motivation for wanting to release some of this weight? And if we're able to switch some of the verbiage, instead of you losing the weight because you lost the weight the first time and then you end up finding it again and a bit more, obviously, which is wonderful. But what about what's your motivation for releasing some of this weight?
There's two. One, my wife's father died when she was a child. And the idea of putting my children through that same thing is unacceptable. There's lots of other words I can use, but let's just go for unacceptable. And the second is I have a lot of work to do and a lot of people to help. And if I'm not at peak performance, then what I can offer people by default is also not at peak performance.
Thank you, Peter, for sharing that. What I'm hearing is that you lost your father-in-law.
I didn't know my wife then, but I see the trauma in her that she grew up without her father. And if I do that to my daughter and my son, knowing what it can then do to somebody, it would be incredibly selfish.
Right. So what I'm hearing is that you want to be around longer for your children and service for your community and for your world. So I appreciate and honor you, Peter, for saying that. If you're open to it, what I can offer you is that my superpower is to allow people to do exactly what you want, to get exactly what you want, to release the weight, to be around for your kids, to be around for your people that you want to serve, and provide you an opportunity in order to get that quickly and easily, so that way you can do the work that you want to do. How does that sound, or how does that feel for you?
Yeah, I mean, if it can work, let's give it a shot. It's certainly, I've looked into enough things. I haven't found the thing yet, so let's try it.
Absolutely, sir. I'm certain that I can help you. I'm 100% certain that I can help you. When's the best time to call you tomorrow in order to set up a meeting?
Tomorrow's going to be sketchy, but if you make it Thursday, about 4 or 5 o'clock my time, we can do that.
Thursday at 4 or 5 o'clock your time. Absolutely, sir. Let's do that.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great job, Alex.
Thank you, sir.
High congruence. How'd you feel about that?
It felt great. I did want to talk to Peter, obviously, a little bit and have him sit in that pain, but he's already sat in it long enough. He understands exactly what he wants and where he's going, and we can help close the gap for you, Peter, 100%.
Awesome. And Peter, how'd that feel for you?
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. He got my daughter and my wife story. As soon as you're there, I'm listening. I'm in. I'm engaged.
Okay, awesome. And before we go to the judges, which we'll go into in one moment, I'm going to drop in really quickly as Maggie. So Peter, you be you, I'll be Maggie, and let's hit it for a second. So Peter, thanks so much for taking my phone call. I really appreciate it. I know you only have about 3 minutes.
Yeah, I do. And we do need to keep that if we can.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you enormously. And let me ask you, how does it feel to have not only won Business Mastery twice, but to have people see you as such a brilliant strategist and just a brilliant human being? Like, how does that feel for you?
It's pretty cool. I spent long enough doing it in private and doing it for the wrong people. So doing it in public and doing it for the right people, it's very rewarding.
Yeah. And if I could ask this, and I know we're short on time, but I've heard you say that a couple of times. And when you say you did it for the wrong people, could I ask, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I've worked for, I look at the recording. I've worked for tobacco companies. I've worked for arms manufacturers. I've worked for, you name the moral thing that you stand against, I've probably worked for them. And November 2018, I realized what I was doing. I realized at some point I'd have to tell my daughter how I earned my money, and I realized I couldn't continue to do it anymore.
That's extraordinary. And so what it sounds like, what it feels like, is that your heart is standing for high vibration, and you want your legacy. And I guess I'm hearing and feeling not only for your daughter and family, but for the world, to be that you had a positive impact in a very real way. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I think that when you lose your moral compass, it's so easy to scale things. And that means that if people that are heart-centered aren't working for the good people, then you're working for the bad people. So there's kind of a double whammy. And I don't want to say good and bad. It's very judgmental, but that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And I acknowledge you for that. So in the final minute, would it be okay if I shared a little bit about me?
Yeah, I've seen you on stage a bit, and I'm interested in hearing a bit more.
Yeah, so again, my name is Maggie, and what I'm committed to doing in the world is supporting women who've been through trauma, who've been through dynamics, and to be a source of unleashing their hearts and goddess energy in the most powerful of ways, to disrupting and interrupting patterns that I've found that women go through. And at one point I was one of those women, and I had a very successful background in selling and marketing, very successful journey through the world of earning a living. And I found myself walking into a seminar. It happened to be a Tony Robbins seminar. We have that in common. And I was in a marriage for 20 years. And a lot of folks would, from a female perspective, consider the happy ending to be, and I was in this marriage and it went on, but it was different from that. And it wasn't horrible and it wasn't crazy, but I made a decision that it wasn't serving my highest purpose. And I want to support women in making empowered, loving, heart-centered decisions. And I'm launching a platform, have a platform, and want to continue to expand it. And to support women most particularly in moving through their pains. And my question, I guess, is how does that resonate for you? And would it make sense for us to have a longer conversation?
Yeah, that definitely was. I said my daughter is kind of my why, and after seeing the world through her eyes, people like myself have to stand up and make that a reality. So yeah, I'm certainly interested in having a conversation.
All right, awesome, sir. All right, pause. Maggie, is that who you are, what you're up to, and how did that rendition of you feel for you?
Yes, I loved it. I loved that, the first piece was so specifically, obviously building rapport, but connecting, and then moving through the process of the 7 steps, I guess, and really looking at what's going on in his world, what my why is, and then, looking at, kind of connecting everything together and finding an opportunity to continue the conversation. I loved it.
Amazing.
Well done.
I appreciate that very, very much. So yes, let's turn it to, I think we're up to, yes, the one and only Mr. David Gonzalez. David, what feedback do you have for Alex, and any other thoughts?
I thought, Alex, you did great. I took some really good notes on, it's very clear that you're confident and powerful at what you do. As far as the rapport building piece, I really felt like you went too fast, too deep. There's a time to use a scotoma, and then rapport building may not be the best. And then, so, the 3 levels, you went more to real rapport, but not deep emotional rapport. But then you salvaged it, came out of that. I also felt like your default no disruption was good, and I was going to give that just like somewhere in the middle of the road, but clearly you know what you're doing, so it seems like you explicitly didn't take it further on default no or disrupting that because of your expertise, and you could feel into the pain. So I would have normally given you go a little deeper. Then you're also working with 3 minutes. As far as your unique heroic identity, that was amazing with your level of confidence. It was very, very clear that you, if you're going to help him, whether he wants it or not, if he decides to move forward, kind of thing. And then your agreement formation was fantastic as well. So the way I've been judging these is like giving each piece a number. So I gave you a 4 for rapport building, a 6 for disruption, the default no, a 7.5 for heroic identity, and a 9 for agreement formation, which wrapped you up at a 7.
David Gonzalez, that was the best round of judging ever. Breaking steps. I loved it. That was amazing. What a new access, and thank you for that, David. Yes, illustrious Joe Hagan. Or actually, up to Deepak, I think, right?
Yeah, I think we could.
It says Joe. Joe's up.
Oh, Joe's up. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I would, man, I'd hate to be a student in David's class. Holy cow.
25 seconds.
Oh, man.
You definitely have to bring it. I thought, similarly, just a couple of distinctions I'd like to make. I thought it was a little awkward. Hey, Peter, what hurt you? Where does it hurt? Like, there was no clarification there. It could have been a little smoother in the beginning, because he's like, what are you talking about? Like, what hurts? I would make fun of something like that and say, my face hurt, my face hurts every time I look in the mirror. What the hell are you talking about? Like, I would change it away from what you're talking about. So, but you basically brought it right back. You did a great job with the rapport. You got his identity and his why. Once he really opened up about his legacy and his father-in-law dying, I thought that was a great opportunity to flip it into a positive with your unique heroic identity instead of staying in negative too long, like what you've done for other clients and what your daughter will feel like when you're skipping rope and you lose the 40 pounds and when you're running marathons with her or doing anything other than sitting there, and paint that vision. And the formation agreement was great. I wish he would have just gotten a little positive once he felt the negative and opened up and got to the agreement formation a little bit quicker. But otherwise, overall, I would give it a 9.
Excellent. Listen, thank you guys. Quick thoughts, 10 seconds each. Alex, I think great job. Your energetic transference is extraordinary. I loved where you were reaching for with that scotoma-like disruption, but I agree with David and Joe. It might have been a little bit early. You know, where's the pain? Could have been put somewhere else, but I love the courageous attempt at stepping into that space. It was beautiful. Great job. Angelica, just a lot more certainty. You're ready. This is your passion. This is your business. It's a business today. Now, put a flag in the ground. It's there, and structure it. Say, okay, now I have to go merge ecosystems. I have to generate speaking engagements, and that generates sales meetings and sales. And here's what I'm selling. Like, let it begin today. Your beautiful soul, clear at your passion. Begin. Alex, dude, you're a straight up rock star. I see it. I feel it every time I talk to you. You're up to huge things in the world. And I agree. Just make sure you're letting people know what those huge things are, who you're working with, what you're accomplishing, what's going on, because you're brilliant, brother, and making enormous things happen. Great job. And Maggie, you know, you just show up as somebody that people want to listen to. And so just sharpening that message, and this platform is ready to explode, and the world needs you. So great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. King
Amazing.
Peter. Yeah, King Peter, final comments for today.
It's been another beautiful day, a beautiful Real Raw. Thank you everyone for being here. I've appreciated it. And Sean, thank you for putting this stage together for us to occupy or rent or whatever the right verb is. But I always like making sure people are aware of the huddle, because I think that's where this all starts. Yeah. So Sean, can you give us a 2 seconds?
Yes. So each and every day we do 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. We are committed to making it the greatest way to begin your day in the world. 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. It's the Unblinded Huddle. We'll drop that in the chat, unblindedhuddle.com. Please join us. And yeah, there's a ton more to do together here. But if it's the end of the journey, never forget that influence is superpower. Deepak, David Gonzalez, Joe Hagan, amazing gentlemen. You guys are world-class brothers, and I appreciate you enormously. And Gina, thank you so much for being the amazing, heart-centered rock star that you are. This is the Unblinded Real Raw Open, and hopefully it's